Are you going to be okay?
Yeah. I hope I'm going to be okay. I feel like I'm going to be okay. 2015 is going to be quite a ride. Quite a ride.
All right, going to be quite a ride. That's what I hear. Joining us now is Andrew Klavan, award-winning mystery novelist, columnist for PJ Media, author of Werewolf Cop, a novel. Hello, Andrew.
Hey, Steve. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. All right, so you know what? Unfortunately, in my view, it's going to be quite a ride. The media is going to be all over this, as they have been. And we're going to, if we watch media, if we watch cable, we're going to have to follow this. And I'm sorry. If he wanted to do this, he could have done this in his own way without being on the cover of Vanity Fair. I just think I can't say he's exploiting himself, but it makes you wonder why he's doing it.
No, I think exploiting himself is a great term. I think that's probably pretty close to the mark. I mean, look, it's all a piece of the Kardashian machine for self-publication, publicization. Yeah, and what's really interesting about it to me, Steve, is that I haven't talked to anybody who cares one way or the other what Bruce Jenner cuts off his body or leaves on, or how he wants to perceive himself. I think what people on the conservative side are a little upset about is the war on reality that Jenner and a lot of transgenders are trying to wage. This idea that if you cut certain pieces of your body off and reshape yourself, you're now suddenly a woman. If you put other pieces on, you're a man. We all know that's not true. Just as we all know when the feminists told us there was no difference between men and women, we all know that's not true. The left has been waging this war against reality for 50 years, telling us that we're not allowed to describe things the way they are. And I think that's the only thing about Jenner that really upsets people.
Yeah, well, I'll give you something else to be upset about, and you probably are aware of this, and that is that ESPN is getting in on the act, and just in my view, and even Bob Costas. I was shocked that Bob Costas and I actually agree on something politically. The fact that ESPN is giving their Arthur Ashe Courage Award to Jenner, as opposed to giving it to, for one, a young lady who played 19 years old, died in April of cancer after playing on her college basketball team to the very end, or even a veteran who lost an arm and a leg and is out there doing extreme sports and was on Dancing with the Stars and almost won. Instead, they're giving it to Jenner.
This is why I canceled my subscription to Sports Illustrated. The sports news establishment has joined the news establishment in becoming this cheerleader for left-wing causes. Just give us the news. Just give us the sports. Just tell us who hit what, who got to what base, who scored what touchdown, and shut up. I think that this need for these people to impose their virtue on us, to instruct us in right thinking and right living, is a sickness. It's a self-righteous sickness, and it just makes them all useless to us. What do we care who ESPN thinks is courageous?
Right. Mike Huckabee took some heat for something that he had said, as it turns out, it was in February or whatever, and someone released it and found it like right the day after the Jenner thing, and he talked about bathrooms, and he said, he said it. Boy, I wish I knew in high school that all I had to do was say I feel like being a woman, and I could go into the women's bathroom. But back then, I would have loved it. Now you could question the wording and the way he said it, but the fact of the matter is, if I had a young girl and I was a father of a young girl, and there was, and she could go to the bathroom in some places, and a man could walk in. A grown man, simply because he says he feels like a woman. I mean, to me, that's pretty sick.
It's everything the left does turns out to have the opposite effect of what they tell us it's going to have. And in this case, rather than making the world safer for people of different genders, as it were, they just make the world more dangerous for women. Of course, men are going to do that. Men can be skunks, and of course, men are going to take advantage of any kind of confusion they have to get any advantage they can over women. And it's a disgusting and ugly and stupid practice. To let men in simply simply for declaring themselves women. I think Huckabee's absolutely right.
I'll give you one more. We got a minute. Yeah, another sports thing. Hope Solo's playing in the women's soccer right now. She's, you know, apparently they're re-looking at the charges against her for domestic abuse. You got two WNBA women who were together. Now they're filing for separation. One of them was charged with domestic abuse. I mean, but yet there's no uproar in the media. They're not saying that, you know, they got to fire the commissioner, and they ignore it when it's a woman and when it's lesbian.
Of course, it's all about the narrative, pal. You know, it's all about the favored groups and whether they can advance their narrative that men are bad, that women are good, that men are abusers, and there's a rape culture and all this stuff. Anything that goes against that is just too much cognitive dissonance for them to report or for them to react to.
Andrew, we'll talk to you soon. Great talking to you, sir. Keep up the faith.
Always great to see you.
All right, Andrew Klavan, ladies and gentlemen. Up next, Give Me Five, right here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Don't go away.